This movie broke my brain a little bit, guys. I let's let's just get into it. I'm Elise, Late Late Horror Show, da 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 da. You know the drill. So, when I was thinking about what to possibly talk about this week, I had a couple of ideas in my head. I just finished watching Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, final season, fantastic. And I thought, oh, Tony Shalhoub is one of the main stars of the show. I could talk about the 13 Ghosts. And there's a lot there. I also finished the show Barry, which is phenomenal. And, I thought maybe I could talk about a lot of the horror elements in the show and about my future second husband, Bill Hader. But then I remembered, I haven't watched Halloween Ends yet. And I enjoyed Halloween 2018. Halloween Kills was a bit of a roller coaster, but there were a lot of things in it that I did like and a lot of great performances and actors that I really adore. And since Halloween Ends came out last year, I have not watched or read anything about it, but overwhelmingly I've just heard that it's bad. And I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go into this with an open mind. And, I know that David Gordon Green has been kind of doing his own thing with this. Maybe it'll be a fun, fresh perspective again, or at least a semi-satisfying conclusion to the new Halloween trilogy. Boy, oh boy. So normally, you know my deal. When I talk about whatever topic it is, I typically go into the background. I will talk about behind the scenes stuff or focus on certain elements of the story or characters, go heavy into analysis. Oh no, we are taking a journey tonight because 14 pages of notes in real time. And I got 14 minutes in and I was like, I'm just going to watch the movie and I'll reflect and write things down afterwards. 14 minutes in and I had to pause it and start writing notes and no, I am writing out my whatever weird thoughts happen as they happen along in the movie. So we're just kind of gonna go through my notes. Spoiler warning, because I'm just going to talk about pretty much the entire movie, or at least what I remember, because I think between pausing and note-taking and just stomping around my place, what is happening? Why would they do this? Did I just watch that? The movie is about a little under 2 hours. It's like an hour 50. I think I spent probably about 3.5 hours watching it just with all the pauses I had to take and just to write my stuff down. So let's go on this journey together. And I also, as this was going on, ended up drinking about an entire bottle of wine. So we'll see what I wrote. Let's have some fun. Hopefully more fun than watching this movie. Okay, so movie opens. Really dig the song at the opening. I did not look up what it was, but it was kind of fun. But before the song starts, it's like, Haddonfield's Rock Station. I don't know, it just set a weird tone, immediately, and we know it's Haddonfield, but, whatever. We know. Babysitter guy, Corey, hello, 30-year-old teen, was slightly relieved to find out he's 21. So the movie starts out, it's Halloween night 2019, and just mom and dad are going to some Halloween party. Their kid is being watched by this 35-year-old, 21-year-old. And shenanigans ensue. So obvious focus on the knife and cutting board, a bit heavy-handed. Oh, yep, there's he's making something in the kitchen and he leaves the knife on the cutting board and there's a bit of a zoom and you're like, oh, because that knife is going to come into place soon. That's subtlety. And the little kid that he's babysitting is, he's a bit of, he's kind of a dick. And he says something, they're talking about Michael Myers, and Corey, babysitter dude, is like, oh, Michael's gonna get you. And the kid's like, no, he doesn't kill kids. He only kills crappy babysitters like you, or something like that. I'm like, that kid's gonna die, right? All right, let's see what happens. Corey gives me serial killer vibes. Put a pin in that, friends. So the kid, he goes into the kitchen, or he leaves the room, whatever, and the kid disappears and he's looking around for him, and then he hears a scuffle or something and the kid's screaming, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure that this is the kid just about to prank the babysitter boy, but Corey's just still walking around super slowly, and I mean, I get it, but a child under your care is seemingly in trouble. Run, don't walk to find them. Like, even if they're just being a little shit, like, you can be pissed off later. Just make sure they're okay. This is coming from someone, like, I don't babysit. Still. They're watching the 1982 The Thing. I'm like, okay, that's kind of a fun little throwback to the original Halloween, where they're watching The Thing from Another World, 1951, which inspired John Carpenter to do The Thing. So the whole thing was a prank. The kid ends up locking the babysitter boy, it's Corey, his name's Corey, in the attic, and as the parents are coming home, Corey's trying to kick open the door, and the house, it's like several stories, very interesting production design. It was a cool look, but also Haddonfield is kind of supposed to be like more just generally like middle class, working class. Like, who are the people? Like, every house is a designer house in these movies. It's either that or like a trailer. Like, there's really no in between. What the hell? But anyways, his parents come home, and as Corey finally kicks open the door, hits the kid, and then the shot goes down to the foyer, and the kid just, bang, falls 3 stories, whatever, down, and is dead. And I just went, ha! Like, holy shit. Did I laugh because it was unexpected and absurd, or am I just a terrible person? Possibly both. And then it cuts to, and the kid's bleeding out, and it cuts to the credits, and I wrote down, I'm probably gonna hate this movie as a Halloween movie, but I might love it for the absurdity. Oh, I was so young and naive then, like 20 hours ago. All right, so I actually really like the whole jack-o'-lantern sequence in the opening credits. What it does, you start off with the kind of the original jack-o'-lantern, and it's really interesting how they do this. It's like the jack-o'-lantern transitions into a different version of it, and like it goes through like the different jack-o'-lanterns that are used in the opening credits of the other Halloween movies. And, you know, that's pretty neat. But then at the end, it like twists around into just a fresh pumpkin. And like, oh, okay, so I this is a fresh Halloween. This ain't your mama's Halloween. This is new ground, new territory. Like, not what you're expecting, huh? Just hold on to your butts. Yeah, again, subtlety. But then that fresh pumpkin kind of splits apart, and this actually reminded me of a scene from the new Diablo 4, and it's like a blood sacrifice scene, because as the pumpkin splits, like the pumpkin guts are kind of stretching across, and they look like blood vessels. That was that was neat to see. Now, the theme song, it's the Halloween theme, but it's like a rave bop version. And like the whole time, I'm just like, do, 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 get out the glow sticks, yeah! Like it's fun, but it lacks that chilling, creepy simplicity of the original. Sign of things to come, I'm sure. I'm freaking Nostradamus. You'll see. So then we go into Lori narrating, and she's like writing a memoir or something, and it shows footage from the original movie, and I'm like, I'd rather be watching that movie. And also, this is something, if you're doing a movie, don't reference or put things in from better movies. It's just going to remind the audience how much better those movies are. Anyway, but Lori is doing a whole narration. Her granddaughter Allison has moved in with her. Judy Greer's character died in Halloween Kills, and the dad died in Halloween. And she has a new house and everything. And her narration actually really hit me on a different level after reading the Final Girl support group, and like the idea of how being a survivor you create your own prison in that, when you're in that mind frame. And I really did appreciate that. But they're kind of doing a montage of just their life together, and Lori's she doesn't have the booby traps and guns, and she's just trying to live life and be more joyful. But show, don't tell. So at one point, Lori gives Allison a necklace, a chain with her parents' wedding rings on it, and Allison gets emotional, and she comes behind her and hugs her. And it's a really touching moment, and the performances are really strong. Andy Matichak, who plays Allison, is really great. Like, she outclasses this movie a lot. But then you hear Lori saying to Allison, "It's theirs. It's their wedding rings." Like, we know it cheapened the moment. Like, trust your audience and what the performance conveys. Like, ugh. Andy Matichak is fantastic. Side note, Jamie Lee Curtis winning the Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once did make me cry tears of joy. And she basically, if you watched the Oscars, which I didn't, but I watched her acceptance speech, and she thanks her horror audience, and she said the people, the fans who have watched me and supported me in more like niche films, aka horror. And when the day after the Academy Awards, one of my best friends sent the video to me, and he's like, "Oh, she thanked you, Elise," and I just wanted to point that out. But I do, and it's Halloween season. It's a few days before Halloween, and Lori's putting up Halloween decorations and getting really into it. And I love that Lori is embracing Halloween now. It's sweet, and you can tell that it is a way of coping with her grief and her trauma, and maybe masking it a bit. But it is it's nice to see. I miss Big John and Little John. That's what it is. She burns a pumpkin pie really badly. Thanks, Marie Callender. I don't know if you remember that thing. It was a year ago or a couple of years ago or something that went viral. I don't know what time is. It's a wibbly wobbly weird soup. But the lady who, it looked like she cooked her pie in the fires of Mordor, and she blamed Marie Callender, and it just became a meme. So that's all I thought of. And I listened to radio, and the radio jockey's like, 4 more days to Halloween. Give me the Silver Shamrock song, damn it. And then it cuts to Corey, again, the former babysitter. He's working at a salvage yard, and it's his dad's or stepdad. That dude, he's a nice guy, but he's wearing the blue jumpsuit. Halloween, Next Generation, did I call it? And then it cuts. Allison is now working as a nurse, and she gets pulled over by a cop who I guess is her ex-boyfriend, but he's being a creep. But the camera pans down to under the bridge, and there's this giant circular entrance into the sewers. And I said, Pennywise, please come up from under this bridge and kill Creeper Cop on Allison's tail. Is Michael living in the sewer? I was joking about Pennywise. This is too much. And what is, I don't, like, apparently small towns just like, and here's this, here's the giant sewer system that anybody can come in and out of. Like, I've never, is that really a thing? Does that exist? I've never seen it, but I don't know. Corey loves his chocolate milk. He has a weird thing. He just loves chocolate milk. I don't know. There's a group of teens that come up to him trying to get him to buy them beer. And they're like, oh, hey, it's that guy who killed that kid. And they're just being such stereotypical, like, 80s bullies. I write more about them later. And they say something, and Laurie walks up and they're like, oh, it's a psycho in the freak show. And they knock him down and they beat him up, they rough him up a little bit. And Laurie says to Corey, are you the psycho or the freak show? Love. And so, it's at the gas station, and Laurie pulls out a knife and goes, do you want to do it or do you want me to? And opens this knife and then cuts to them slashing the tires of the jock kid bully's car. And like, I love this Laurie Strode queen. And, might she unintentionally be fostering Michael's protege? I'll be pissed if I'm right. She brings Corey to the hospital that Allison works at and has Allison stitch him up. And Allison immediately starts giving him, like, bedroom eyes. No, Allison, don't look at him like that. And the doctor comes in. He's a creep. He's talking to Corey, and he says about Allison, like, cute, isn't she? Fire this doctor man, please. Allison's talking to Corey, and he's not an endearing, charming, anything character. Like, he's just, what did the kids say? Cringe. And he's like, saying stuff because he's like, he's dark and broken and just talking down to Allison. And I said, don't condescend to Allison, you chode. And she says, my car's been rattling. He goes, it's the exhaust system. It's an easy fix. I'm sorry, what? Like, there are hundreds of reasons the car could be rattling. Dick. Lindsay is back. Kyle Richards. She's just like a bartender at a local joint, and she also does tarot card readings. That's cool. And she basically does nothing in this movie. It's such a waste. But we go to see. I'm just like, these are just like my thoughts, and I'm quoting things. So I'm trying to remember what was going on to make me write down what I wrote down. Corey's mother is she's very overbearing, and he's keeping things from them or something. And she says, and they're going to have custard for dessert, but she goes, boys that keep secrets don't get custard for dessert. My new motto and favorite line so far. Corey, just stop. I don't know what that's in reference to, but that's just this whole movie. Like, just stop, Corey. Frank comes back, the officer, Will Patton. I really like him. I like Will Patton as an actor. He and Laurie run into each other at the store, and they just have such an easy familiarity with each other. They have really great chemistry. Again, I wish he was in this movie more, but it was nice to see him back and see him interacting with Laurie. Allison takes a shine to Corey, and she invites him out to this club. They're doing like a pre-Halloween party. And the bar, club, whatever, is actually pretty awesome. Like, it got really good music, and she and Corey are being cute, taking pictures in the photo booth together and whatnot. And then he runs into the kid's mother, the kid that he accidentally killed at the beginning. And she, starts saying, oh, I can't, like, you can just go on and live your life, and he's wearing a mask, and you can just wear your mask. I can't wear a mask. I can't move on. And it should be really, like, it should be moving and sad, but the way this dialogue is written it ain't good. So he kind of, freaks out, and he runs out, and Allison runs after him, and they start having their bonding where they're just talking about how broken they both are. And broken souls find each other, but it's not always healthy. And I get now Allison's attraction / magnetism to Corey. He may be the only semi-kindred spirit around. And he basically, she's like, nobody understands me, and I saw this in you. And he's like, no, it's different, because you're the victim, you're the survivor. I'm the killer. People look at me different way, whatever. He's being all angsty and broody, and it's not selling. At this point, we're almost 40 minutes in. No sign of Michael. And I think I get what this is what I'm writing at the time. I think I get what this movie is trying to do. Like, evil breeds evil. The cancer of Michael Myers has metastasized through the entire community. New Michaels can be born / created every day, etc. But I just don't care. And some point, people are just talking about Michael Myers, like how, after he just disappeared after that night, and the whole town was after him, and somehow he got away and killed Judy Greer and just disappeared, and we haven't heard from him since. And then they just drop it and move on. Like, this ain't Season of the Witch, and you're fucking with the audience by not resolving the insane and overbearing questions from Halloween Kills. We don't need all the answers or things tied neatly in a bow, but it has to make some kind of storytelling sense. This quasi-reimagining shit in the final installment is pissing me off. Page 5. The Jock Bully kid. Oh, they run into Corey again, and he pushes him off of that bridge that's over the sewer. And it's so dumb. But the jock kid goes, I didn't push nobody, he fell. That's my story. Like, the delivery sent me. And then Corey, he's injured, but he goes into the sewer. Haddonfield is not Derry. This is not what Halloween is about. I'm feeling much more favorably about the Rob Zombie Halloween movies now. Later on, Laurie and Allison have a moment, and Allison's upset, and Laurie's trying to talk her down. She's like, oh, can't I just be mad? And Laurie says, you can be mad. You can be very, very mad. And you can smash things. Just be careful. It's addictive. That's a good line, and I'm loving Laurie. And this movie made me lose an earbud. Fuck. Oh. I was sitting outside on my porch watching this, and I leaned over, and one of my earbuds fell out of my ear and somewhere onto the porch, and it was nighttime, and I don't know where it went. So thanks for making me lose an earbud. Halloween ends. David Gordon Green, you owe me. I was trying to be gracious, but now I'm just angry. And then we go back to the sewer, and no, Michael has been in the sewer all Pennywise-like. F this movie. So Michael reaches out and starts to choke out Corey. And I had to pause. And I wrote, if he tilts his head and lets Corey go, recognizing him as a kindred spirit, I'm going to be upset. No, they fucking did it. What the fuck? So he's choking Corey, and then they lock eyes, and then Michael does the head tilt, and we go through, it's like a quick, it's almost like they're dream fasting, like the Gelflings in The Dark Crystal. I hate everything. Yay, wine.
You said Gosling's Dark Crystal in the same. Oh.
All over the place. Yeah, so Michael basically recognizes Corey as, we're cut from the same cloth, and he lets him go, and Corey runs out, and this random homeless guy that we've seen a couple of times just stumbles on him and threatens him with a little knife, and I'm like, who's this crazy Ralph wannabe dude? And Corey kills him, and that's the start of his descent into darkness. And oh, it's murder, I don't know why that was in my head, but I wrote that down. When Corey is just looking in a mirror, because if you're, subtlety, if you're a character going through a lot of internal conflict, you have to look in a mirror and be like, who am I? What am I? But they show a shot of the sink, and to me it was distracting because of the name obscured but clearly off-brand tube of toothpaste that's really tightly wedged in behind the faucet. I don't know. There's another nurse that works with Allison. I guess her name's Deb, and she's contrasted to Allison. Like, she is clearly having a thing with the doctor, who's probably married, and she's like, oh, I'm slutty, because you have to have that character, but obvious bad wig, like Twilight, especially New Moon and Eclipse. Lori needs a ghostwriter. You're writing her memoir, and at some point she says, like, oh, you have to choose what your life is going to be, suicide or cherry blossoms. F me! Suicide or cherry blossoms. Good band name, though. So Corey comes over to the house, and he's all banged up, and he's like, Allison, take a walk with me. Just take a walk with me. Don't go on a walk with him. And as they're doing their walk and talk, and he, she's all like, I want to understand you. And he's all broody, and why am I getting Twilight vibes? And then, because, he got pushed over a bridge and stuff, and he's, he's roughed up, but he's okay. And I'm just picturing them doing the whole, you're impossibly fast and strong. I know what you are. Say it out loud. A Michael Myers. Oh, and then he takes her to the now empty house at the beginning of the movie where the family lived, and he's explaining how the night went, and oh, he died right here. Oh, no, F me with this rehash of the opening. And just, subtext has no place in this movie. What's being conveyed was fine without you spelling it out. Okay, so I don't remember the exact line or lines that was in reference to, but the dialogue is so expository, and it's not in a stylized way. It's just aggravating and just really hammers you over the head with everything, and it's frustrating. Oh shit, is that Kathy Najimy? I thought that the lady who played Corey's mother was Kathy Najimy. And she, at some point, she's talking to Lori and oh, you're blaming my son for this, because Lori's like, I don't want this dude around my granddaughter, because she's right. He's a good, sweet boy. And the mom says, because your boogeyman disappeared, they needed a new one. Ding, ding, ding. That's it. That's the movie. Also, it's not Halloween. Corey sucks. It's like they're trying to do Christian Slater and Heathers, but failing. Now I want to watch Heathers or listen to the soundtrack of the musical. When did Haddonfield become a caricature and parody? Was it Evil Dies Tonight? just everyone in this town, yeah, it's a caricature of itself. It's hollow and sad, and I hate it. Corey and Allison go on a date, and the bullies are being bullies, and her ex cop boyfriend is there, and like they're harassing them, and he starts, he's jealous, and he starts, talking crap about Allison and about, her family, that her parents died, and Michael Myers and everything. And they had talked about, oh, like burn it to the ground. And Allison says to Corey, just burn it all to the ground. And he says, I'll light the match. I'm like, fight the urge to strike a match and set this dump ablaze. Heathers! Now we're in Heathers. And in this new version that I've created, where it's just Heathers by way of Halloween, the Silver Shamrock theme is replaced with Candy Store from the musical. Like, instead of Silver Shamrock, it's just going, tell me what you're looking for. Welcome to my candy store. Was this probably a quarter of a bottle of the wine in here at this point? Yes. Okay. This is Game of Thrones Season 8 equivalent of subverting expectations. Like, you didn't expect that to happen. That means it's clever or smart or new. Like, no, it's just bad. Corey and Michael are buds. I want this to be a sitcom. Corey goes down to the sewer dwelling that's Michael's new home, and they're like, oh, they're just buds hanging out. Oh no, BFF fight. They start scuffling, and oh good, they're bonding again. They're doing the guy thing, like, oh, we're fighting, but like because we're fighting, we're working out our feelings, and now we're okay. But then I don't like this possession-esque turn this has taken. Yeah, so Corey, like, he's like, I don't know what's happening to me. Like the spirit of Michael is literally possessing him, and I hate it. Then I had a thought, like, oh, did Michael kind of send Corey to the court and sleep with Allison so she could be like justifiably killed or something? That's not it. That might have been a little bit interesting, so no place in this movie. I don't care about Corey. Laurie Strode goes to the local bar, and she runs into Mr. Allen, who's the dad of the kid who died in the beginning. And they're having this conversation, and I just wrote, this isn't Aaron Sorkin. Don't make people talk like they're writers, or at least don't do it badly. And it's like, and this guy, no offense to the actor, I think this is a case of just the writing is just so heavy-handed and just weird. But like, did they only have the budget for like 3 competent actors? That monologue in the bar was awful. Like, at least Halloween Kills had a bevy of talented, charismatic actors and great performances. In addition to the few characters and the few actors who have returned for Halloween Ends, you had Robert Longstreet, Anthony Michael Hall, Dylan Arnold, Judy Greer, Michael McDonald, and like, you actually cared about the characters, and there were so many others that I was genuinely upset when just this side character died. Like Big John and Little John, I'm still mourning them. But like, this is being played like a bad community theater / student film piece. This is the quality of like 95% of the performances in this film. I just had a note. I think there's something about her look and the fact that it's red hair, but replace the Deb nurse with Vanessa Bayer, and this is suddenly an incredible satire / parody, which I would love to see that. Can Michael please effing stab me? That hurt less. Oh. Jesus H. Christ. So Corey takes Allison like up to some rooftop, and there's like red lighting because there's a sign, like, and they're bathed in this red glow. Again, subtlety. And he's, being his, little broody sad boy. And whatever he said, inspired me to write, I will never make fun of, I don't like sand again. Then the best slash moment of the movie happens, aside from the kid going boo at the beginning. Corey walks to the edge of the building and says, I think you're scared that you don't have enough bandages to keep me together. And then leaps off the building. And she's like, Corey, are you insane? And runs, and he's totally fine. This is Twilight. This would work so much better as like a cheesy teen vampire movie. I want that version. It at least would be more fun. But then, okay, so after he's fine, but he's laying down and he sits straight up and does the Michael Myers thing. And I'm like, okay, his straight-backed Michael sit-up was kind of neat. I'm a sucker for a decent throwback and like some fun physical acting. Okay. They run into this DJ guy named Willie, and he says, Corey Cunningham, what you doing out here, you ugly motherfucker? Like, okay, now that's the best line of the movie. I agree. And I'm like, oh, his name's Corey Cunningham. Corey Cunningham, Michael Myers, like they're doing the alliteration thing. Really, David Gordon Green? Damn it, even Willie fell victim to bad writing. Oh, he starts expostulating about something or other and whatever. Corey's mom, very much like Eddie Kaspbrak's mother from It. And you were very like infantilizing your grown son, or just infantilizing your son and being super overbearing, and like enough with the It similarities and things that remind me of better movies. Then, oh no, that's not Kathy Najimy. The first hour of this movie was a lie. Corey's look is Bobo Ramsey Bolton. Lori and Corey are like yelling at each other or something. And like Lori's a queen, but this expounding is killing me. Just basically like they're stating the themes of the movie. I now have a concussion from how hard the movie is beating me over the head with its dialogue and themes. And then Corey like starts shouting at her, like, you started this, you brought me in, you invited me. Okay, Corey is a vampire. They have to be invited in. Oh. And then, did he really just say about Allison, if I can't have her, no one will? Fuck. Corey is taking all the pages from the abusive boyfriend's handbook. Sewer scuffle. Oh, this is the officer dude. Michael, please murk this dum-dum. And then, oh, Michael does the sit-up. Now at this point, and I realized in just kind of like reading through my notes today, Michael and Corey get into a scuffle, and Corey takes Michael's mask. And as I was watching this whole next sequence, I kind of forgot about that. So there are some notes that actually won't apply. I might read them anyways, but because they were good thoughts. They just don't actually apply. But like this is how little effect and little impact this movie has on me. Like I just forgot that it's Corey doing all the stuff in this next whole section and not Michael. Because like I want it to be Michael. I don't care about Corey. We don't care about Corey. No, no, no. As bad as this on the nose dialogue is, Jamie Lee Curtis and Annie Matichak are delivering solid performances. Yeah, to their credit, and they have to say a lot of this stuff, but they are fully invested and they are managing to make at least some of the dialogue work, and they're really committed, and you really do feel for these characters, and yeah, they deserved a better movie. This movie lets them down, but they're great. The high school the bullies feel so 80s. It's comical. So, oh yeah, what led into this? Corey carves psycho freak show on the one kid's car, and he's like, no one ruins my car. And they chase him to the junkyard or salvage yard, whatever it is that Corey works at. And at one point, they leave the one friend in the car, because there's like 5 of them or something, 4, 6. I don't know. I don't care about any of them. But they're like, oh, wait, where's the Kevin? Or I don't remember the kid's name. I don't know any of their names. And you're like, he's dead. He's dead. He's dead. And then they go back to the car, and he's like got a knife in his head or something. And like, oh, like there was that was a decent kill. It was done off camera. Cue the Kevin Sorbo disappointed. And now if we'd had actual good horror and some kills beforehand, that could help increase the tension, having a kill done off screen. That happens a lot throughout all of the Halloween movies. But it was just so telegraphed that, oh, they're going to come back and the kid's going to be dead in the driver's seat. And like, there's no suspense before. Oh my, and the overindulgent score. They don't let there be silence, or at least lack of music, or just kind of like atmospheric tones, or that the Halloween theme, when they do it, it's like booming, and it's all too much. It's like putting ketchup on a perfectly cooked steak. Like, silence and simplicity are powerful. The original Halloween knew this, and a lot of modern horror, like horror adjacent things, utilize it brilliantly. Barry is an excellent example of this. I wrote down Hereditary, just a lot of where silence or lack of music, and The Thing, that can be so effective. And when you have a jump scare, but without the boom or the music starting, and it's so much creepier. Like when you see something happening in the background, or like, the one episode of Barry season 4 has an amazing, like, silent jump scare. It's fantastic. Anyway, so Corey in the Michael Myers mask he's in a big truck, and he's chasing after the bullies. And the one girl's running. And so, the junkyard, you have the rows and rows of cars, and then like a big aisle for cars to drive through. She's running straight down the middle, and I'm just like, serpentine, run between the cars that are like perpendicular to the car coming at you. He can't turn, and maybe you can hide, or at least, get some, you can get away. Like, it's Rickon Stark all over again. And as much as I hate to reference what's it called? Like, everything, like every Cinema Sins. But the Prometheus school of running away from things. It is very much that, and it's frustrating. So he runs into one girl, and she doesn't die yet, but like traps her like go against the fence, and she's kind of under the truck, and she's still alive though. And he's chasing after one of the going after the one dude, and his stepdad, who owns the salvage yard. I don't know if it's dad or his stepdad. I actually didn't realize that this was his dad until earlier today, because I read the Wikipedia plot synopsis, and I'm like, oh, that was his dad. I forgot about that. But he's there. He shows up to help his son or stepson, whatever. And Bully Boy is trying to shoot at Corey, and the dad like steps in the way and gets shot and dies. And oh no, innocent mechanic guy got shot in the head when Bully Boy was trying to shoot Corey. Evil begats evil. Violence begats violence. Get it? Christ. And then this might be my favorite bad line of the movie. So one kid is still alive, and I don't, the others died somehow, but he goes over to the girl that was hit by the truck and is incapacitated on the ground, and she's looking up at him, and Corey's coming up behind him, and he asks, like, where's Stacy? Or she asks, where's Stacy? And he goes, Stacy's dead. She goes, you're dead too. And Corey comes behind him, just clomps him on the head, and are you... Where... I didn't bring my bottle of wine with me, but I wish I did. Yeah, it's bad, but at least it made me laugh with how bad it was. Okay, so this is where... I'll go into what my thoughts were when I was watching the movie thinking this was Michael the whole time. But it was not Michael, it was Corey. So there are a couple of pretty neat kills. There is a blowtorch kill to the one kid, like just blowtorches him in the face. And it's kind of obscured, which I think was a good move. It's actually a little creepier that way. And then he comes around to the girl laying on the ground and just stomps her head right in like a pumpkin. Because it's Halloween, get it? So now when I was thinking that this was Michael, I had said, but kills were neat, but felt off for Michael. His most elaborate kills... or the posing of the bodies more so was done off screen before, adding to the mystery and creepiness. Seeing how and when it's all done is like having a magic trick revealed. It's more satisfying to be in the dark. And then also just remember when we cared about the victims? Like when they were people. Remember when characters were people in movies, in these movies, and not just hateful caricatures? Remember that? The good old days? Michael's killing methods aren't elaborate, but the staging after is almost theatrical. Like in the original Halloween, when he brings up the gravestone of his sister and puts it on the bed, and a lot of stuff they did in Halloween Kills, like with the, I think it's the one cop with the decapitated head, but you know he has got the light in, so it's like a human jack-o'-lantern, and posing like the kids he kills on the little playground thingy, and it's like, and putting Big John and Little John together like in this like tragic, gruesome tableau. Like I do like that aspect of Michael. Like he's a little bit extra, but it's in the posing of the bodies. Not most of his kills are just pretty straightforward. Like it's just a knife, you know, even if he's lifting you up with it or putting you against a door, it's usually not like his method of killing isn't like this super elaborate thing. A lot of times it's very reactionary. Like that's what's missing and why Michael isn't himself, because he literally wasn't himself, and dumb drunk me forgot about that. But he is the boogeyman. He wants to scare you and maybe even impress you, and he goes extra in the after effect, not the execution. I thought those were decent thoughts, but even though they don't apply because it was Corey all along. It was Agatha all along. I'd rather be watching WandaVision. Fighty Strode women, or Lori and Allison are fighting, and the way I do not care about this romance or Strode family drama, and I should care. Side note, I love Lori's house. Again, everybody just has these like really nice like architectural digest houses. Um, by Samhain rules, and especially by the rules established in Trick or Treat, Lori has the jack-o'-lanterns. Whoa, there goes the mic. Blah! Still drunk from last night, you guys. No, I'm not. But by those Samhain rules, Lori has the jack-o'-lanterns lit and is observing the holiday, so she should be fine. Like, she's got the decorations up. Okay. So Allison leaves, and she's going to run away with Corey. And Lori goes and calls someone. I think it's the police. I think it's that Officer Frank guy maybe, but she takes out this little gun, and she's saying, I reporting a suicide. And I wrote, really? Lori's gonna kill herself because of this? Her young adult granddaughter is clearly in the beginnings of an abusive relationship, and she's clearly lost and will need your support. I am not okay with this. If she's using this as a power play to draw in Corey/Michael, that's one thing. We'll see. Called it! Laurie Strode is still queen. I was about to be so mad. So, as she, she's got the gun and she's pointed at her head, and Corey comes up to kill her, and she's like, You really think I would kill myself or something? And I'm like, okay, yes. Hashtag still my Lori, or I don't know, whatever people say on the Twitter. Yeah, I'd hear like, oh, it was Corey. Me at this point thinking it was Michael. I was wondering that. I'm good. God, I detest Corey so much. And now, please tell me Allison was kind of in on all this and like saw sense at the pivotal moment. Like maybe they were staging their whole fight, knowing that Corey or Michael would be there to see it, and they, double team. No. Anyway, that they'd have like an Arya Sansa thing with Littlefinger back in like season 7 of Game of Thrones, whenever that was. But that's not what happens. But Corey stabs himself in the neck. And Laura's like, no. And she reaches out for him. And then she's like holding the knife. And he's bleeding out. She's got blood on her hands. And of course, Allison walks in right there. Like, frack, now it looks like Lori killed him. I hate everything. Oh no, the weirdo. Oh. And Allison's like sobbing. Yeah, I loved him. And like, how could you do this? Like, oh no, the weirdo I've known for 24 to 48 hours is dead. Like, this is why Romeo and Juliet only makes sense. Like, only makes sense because they are teenagers. Like, Allison seemed like she was smarter than this, and I know she's, still coping with stuff, but, and, you tend to form, like, it's kind of like a trauma bond, her and Corey, but, like, and also, like, they're in their early, mid-20s at this point, like, just, no. Like, it's not, this ain't Bridges in Madison County. I'm not invested in your stupid relationship. But, so, Corey, the mask had been removed, and there's a shot of Michael's hand reaching out and grabbing the mask. And that was good. Would have been better without the super tonal underscore. If it was quiet or had just been, the simple theme, it would have been way more effective. We're almost there, guys. Strap in. Corey's not dead. Definitely thought Corey was already dead. And I don't care, but it's fun to see him die twice. And so Michael just chokes Corey out. I do like that his death is at Michael's hands, literally. He might do more than suffocate him. Like, I think he twists his neck or something, but he kills him, and I go, yay. And this entire time, Lori is she's in the house, but she doesn't hear Michael and Corey pretty loudly scuffling. Oh, just a side note, I genuinely do like the Michael mask in all three of the movies. I I do, of all of, there's so many different masks. I do think this is one of my favorites. Both, and the progression from kills where it's burnt and like now it's really dirtied up, but the design of it is really good. I like the masks in these movies. So you did something good, David. Yay! But you don't get custard for dessert because you ruin things. Anyway, so Lori starts getting chased by Michael, and she is hiding from him, like, without any of her weapons, like her battlements, her booby traps. And seeing that is kind of great. And then I just noted, and granted, give me some grace here because I don't think I've seen the movie since I saw it in theaters, which, do the math, but Halloween H2O really succeeded in depicting an older, wiser Lori who is still damaged and terrified, but also created a new life for herself. I'd rather be watching that, which I do want to watch that one again, because isn't that one has a cameo from Janet Leigh, and she says the line, "Everyone's entitled to a good scare." Yes, see, yeah, that's already way more, like, already better. Oh, and I don't know if this meant anything, or if maybe it was just like in my brain because I just recently watched the movie. And at one point, Michael, I don't know if it is an ice pick, but it looks like it is. But he's driving like an ice pick looking thing into Laurie's temple. Like, I kind of thought she was gonna die, but I'm like, was that a deliberate callback to Alice, Adrienne King in Friday the 13th Part 2? Like, I don't know, but like, if it was, that's kind of neat. If not, whatever. I thought it's cool. But she gets the upper hand, and Michael Myers not dead yet. Maybe? But so there's the kitchen island, and she gets him on top of it and basically knifes him into it, and then tips the fridge so he's like trapped. Like, the fridge falls on him, like waist and legs. And I'm like, if this, like, just getting knifed to the kitchen island and then the fridge is what takes him out, like, that's gonna be a really sad ending for Michael Myers. And at this point, I thought maybe they were gonna do something, because we got back to Allison and then she goes back to the house, and I'm thinking, oh, Allison, is she gonna kill Lori and then save Michael? Please. No. And then, hell yes, Allison, back for the win. She comes, so Michael's there trapped, and she comes in and just slits his throat, and like, yes. And I love that it's, the two, I don't know if Allison's last name is probably not Strode, because, whatever her, dad's last name was, but I'll just call them the Strode women taking down Michael together. And Lori gets to administer the final cut. She slits Michael's wrist, and there's just as he dies, there's a brief moment where they are kind of holding hands a little bit, and it's like, and just both of their hands covered in blood, and the summation, or the culmination of the trauma and terror that's been inflicted on this woman for 40 years. And it's like this almost loving, in a weird way, handhold. Like, it was a really nice tableau. Like, see, visual language works. Would have been nice to have more of this the entire pointless movie. And then I'm just thinking, oh, is there going to be a final gotcha stinger? There isn't, but So the cops come, and like the entire town of Haddonfield comes into the kitchen because Michael Myers is dead. And they're like, we're taking the body. And I think one of the other officers is like, oh, this isn't how it works. It is tonight. And it's played so dramatically, and it's so meaningful, and it's hilarious. And so, they lift his body, and they're taking him out, and like the entire town shows up. No Lindsay, though. The other person who was in the original movie, who grew up with, all of this, they don't bother to put her in this climactic ending scene. Whatever. But that's the whole town is like, okay, now it's wicked. Like, good news, he's dead. Musicals. Anyways, this over-dramatic nonsense is too much. And kids, that is how Evil died tonight. And then, so they put, all of Haddonfield comes out, and they put Michael's body into, like, a grinder thing, and, like, and everybody, it's just so, like, solemnly celebratory. I'm like, geez, Osama bin Laden didn't get this much fanfare. Like, geez. Corey was pointless. There it is. And then we go back to Laurie writing a memoir, whatever. Memoir. That's how I'm going to say it from now on. Memoir. And she says, I've said goodbye to my boogeyman, which made me think, goodbye, my boogie. Goodbye, my baby. Goodbye, my ragtime girl. But the truth is, Evil doesn't die. Not even tonight. That was my interjection. It changes shape. Oh, because Michael was like credited as the shape in the original, and meaning anyone could be a Michael Myers. You're so profound, movie. And then movie ends, cuts to Don't Fear the Reaper. Ending the movie with Don't Fear the Reaper won't trick me into thinking this was a good time. And scene. So that was Halloween Ends. My brain is broken. I need a drink and a shot and a cocktail. I don't know. Mix it all together. It's going to be terrible. Maybe it'll make me forget that this movie happened. We can only hope. And Evil did, in fact, die tonight. I'm Elise. Thank you for watching and joining me on this unhinged musical Twilight journey. Who would have thought I'd ever say that about a Halloween movie? And stay spooky, friends.